Hello, we are here today doing applications of logarithms and exponential functions. So let's read this first example. It says the formula for the amount of energy E in joules released by an earthquake is given by this equation. E equals 1.74 times 10 to the 19th times 10 to the 1.44 m, where m is the magnitude of the earthquake on the Richter scale. So m's our magnitude on the Richter scale, and E, our other variable, is joules, the amount of energy released. So part I here says the Newcastle earthquake in 1989 had a magnitude of 5 on the Richter scale. How many joules? So now we're looking for joules. So let's use our equation. To find joules, we know joules is just the variable E. So we'll write out our formula. E equals 1.74 times 10 to the 19th times 10 to the 1.44. And we can substitute in our m because we know that our magnitude here is 5. So I'll just put in a 5 for our magnitude. Okay, so let's grab our graphing calculator here and type this in. So we have 1.74 times 10 to the 19th times 10 to the, and I'll put this all in parentheses, 1.44 times 5. Looks like I forgot my decimal point. I'll go ahead and insert with that, see if that works. There we go. Press enter. And we get, bring it over here, get our final answer to be 0.75, or rounded to 3 significant figures, 2.76. Notice that it has this here E notation, which we know in our graphing calculator that means scientific notation, so it's 10 to the 26 here of, and we're looking at joules. All right, so another thing we could do to check to make sure that we have this correct is we could look at our graphing calculator and type this equation in. So let's go back to our graphing calculator and let's put in the equation that we have. I already have it pre-typed in there, and maybe you want to take a moment to press pause and make sure you have the same thing in your graphing calculator. Since the window might be a little bit difficult, I'm going to cheat a little bit and go zoom fit, which is 0. That will automatically fit my graph to my window. And if I want to know when my magnitude of 5, so I can do trace, and now it lets me enter in my x value, and I know my magnitude is 5, so I hit 5, enter, and there once again is our answer. So now we have confirmed 2 different ways, one using the GDC and one with the calculations, and it's 2.76 again. Okay, the next thing says an earthquake in San Francisco in the 1990s, the amount of energy released was double that of the Newcastle earthquake. So if it was double of the Newcastle earthquake, well, it no longer is 2.76, it's going to be double this whole amount. So we can say, well, that is 2 times 2.76 times 10 to the 26. We want to know what the Richter magnitude is, or also known as our value m. So we can set this equal to our equation, 1.74 times 10 to the 19th times 10 to the 1.44 m. Alright, so how do we solve this? Well, first thing is to isolate our variable. Let's get rid of everything in front of it. And this whole thing is just being multiplied. So I can take that whole thing and I can just divide by it. If I do that to one side, I have to do that to the other. So now we're going to be left with just 10 to the 1.44 m, and then whatever this value is. So we'll go back into our graphing calculator. And let's type in this value. So we have 2 times 2.76 times 10 to the power of 26. And that's all being divided by 1.74 times 10 to the power of 19. And there's our answer here. We'll bring that down here. So now, I'll just make that a little bit bigger so we can see it. So now we have this equation. If we just look across, we have our solution equals 10 to the 1.44 m. And we can do this now because we know our log rules. So if we take the log of both sides, so if I take the log of this answer and I take the log of this side, now using my power rule, I can take my power and I can move that out front. So now I have log of 3172437.93 equals 1.44 log of 1.44 m log of 10. Divide by, we're trying to isolate our variable here, we need to get rid of all of this. So we can divide by log of 10, divide this by log of 10. Now we're going to be left with 1.44 m. And whatever that value is, go back to our calculator. We have parenthesis log 31724.137. Hope you guys are all doing this on your calculator too, so that you get used to typing in everything. And we're going to divide that by log of 10. And we get 7.5014. And I'll divide by 1.44. Divide by 1.44. Back to our calculator. We can just put this whole answer in. Divided by 1.44. Ignore that Excel sheet that just came up. And we get 5.21. So our final answer is M is 5.21, and we can label that, since we're doing magnitude, we could just say 5.21 on the Richter scale. All right, that's it for now.